Okay, so we're going to cover types of first day, mindset, step by step what to do, and tactics to make the best first impression on your first day. So, types of first day. These are in general the types of first day you are going to get with a degree apprenticeship. Okay, and number one is like a sort of fun activities, outbound, icebreaker sort of day. And this is something you're more likely to get with like bigger companies where they have like a big cohort of apprentices. Maybe there's like 20, like 12, like 30, whatever, 16, 10, right, apprentices starting in the same company at the same office on the same day or something. And they might do like a fun activities like outbound sort of icebreaker, like team building sort of day, just to sort of induct you, like introduce you to each other, introduce you to the company, sort of just give you a nice start. And if you do that, nothing to worry about. You're just doing fun activities, right? If your company doesn't do that, then the other type is just like a boring admin day. Basically, it's like you get given your laptop, you have to like sign in, create your password, and then create all your accounts, learn about all the different like systems, and basically just watch a bunch of training videos. It's a lot of corporate stuff. It's just a boring admin day like that. So really, if I make that smaller, really on your first day in terms of mindset, like you don't need to be nervous. Like it's really nothing major. It's literally just either a fun team building activities day you don't have to worry about, or it's just boring like watching videos and like signing up and signing your contract and getting like your HMRC payroll set up, getting your bank account set up, probably like checking your passport, all this sort of thing, right? You really don't have to worry about it. You don't have to go into this first day like expecting like thinking that you need to like perform, you need to succeed, anything like that. It's like the company know you don't know anything. Okay, you're starting as a degree apprentice. A lot of people are just gonna be straight out of year 13. If you're doing like engineering, you might have never done engineering before. If you're doing DTS, you don't even have to know coding to do digital and technology solutions, DTS. Right? The company know you don't know anything. If you're joining something that's like a senior project manager when you're 45, yeah, they're probably expecting you like within like the first week or first couple of days. They're going to put you on a project. They're expecting you to perform. You need to be managing this project well. You need to be like talking to like managing your team members, managing the budget, all this sort of thing. Like they're expecting you. You're like 45 years old. You're a senior project manager, right? You're a degree apprentice. A degree apprentice. Most of you are going to be 18. The company knows you don't know anything. Another thing is the company wants you to succeed. Like this whole degree apprenticeship is about your learning, about your development, doing this degree, learning how to do this job, like developing to become like a proper like senior engineer or a senior project manager or a senior like paralegal or whatever your apprenticeship's in, right? The company's on your side. Again, compared to if you're like 45 years old coming in a project manager, the company's kind of indifferent to you. They just want to see, is there a good project manager here or is there not a good project manager here? And if you're not, they're going to try and get rid of you as soon as possible, right? But when it's a degree apprentice, it's like they're on your side. You're sort of their little trainee for the next 3, 4, 5 years. They want to like nurture you and develop you and make you a really good employee. Okay, because that's the positive about degree apprenticeships. They get to like train you exactly how they want. They get to nurture you exactly how they want, compared to someone who's like come from university and they've got all these like beliefs already and like these ways of doing things. This is one of the positives of degree apprenticeships. They get to train you from day one, so they can like mold you basically into the perfect employee. They want you to succeed. So you don't have to impress with any like knowledge on your first day. Don't worry. On your first day, you're not going to have to design an engine or design a bridge or like code like the front end of a application or like the back end of a website. You're not going to have to do anything about that. The only thing really you need to impress with on your first day is just social skills. Okay, it's just leave a good impression. Okay, leave a good impression that you're like a normal person who's going to be like a good member of the team and you're kind of nice to talk to. That's about it. You don't have to leave an impression saying you're going to be the best degree apprentice who's going to like be able to engineer a bridge and design an engine and code like the whole of Amazon Web Services, right? It's just about, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just, I say, just try and impress with social skills so you can leave a good impression. That's probably the most useful thing you can do, is just impressing with those social skills. So in a second, I'm going to get to some tactics, like how exactly to impress with social skills during the day. We'll get to those in a second. But just before that, I'm going to do a step-by-step what to do. Okay. And now this section is going to seem kind of stupid, right? because I'm going to go in like ridiculous detail on exactly what to do on your first day. But I think a lot of people get nervous about things like getting into the building, like something as simple as like getting into the building. How do I even do? I don't know who to talk to. I don't know where to go. They get nervous about that. So this is going to like, the detail is going to like be kind of stupid while we're going through this. It's a bit goofy, right? But there'll be someone out there who's watching this video who gets value from this, and it means they're like less nervous going into the building. They know what they're doing, okay? Which is why I'm going to do this, okay? So first of all, get to the city or location 30 minutes earlier than you would. Okay, so say like your start time is like 9 a.m. for your first day. Likely it's going to be like 9 a.m., 9:15, 9:30, 10 a.m. It's going to be a bit later. It's not going to be like an 8:30 or 8 a.m., 7 a.m. start usually, because it's like the line manager wants to get into the office and like actually like get ready before they then start your first day. So it might be like 9:30, something like that. Say it starts at 9:30 and like there's a train which gets in at 9:20. That's the one you would like usually get, and eventually when you continue your job you'll always get the 9:20 in or whatever, like you get the one in that's 10 minutes before. This time get the 8:50, okay, so like 40 minutes before. So just whatever train or whatever bus, or if you're driving, get one which is 30 minutes early. Get there 30 minutes early, because what it means is if a train just doesn't turn up, which happens, or if a bus just doesn't turn up, which happens, it means you can then like get the next one which is 30 minutes later and you're still going to get there on time, okay? Because like if the train doesn't show up and you end up being late for your first day, it's not going to leave a good impression. Like I know it wasn't your fault, even though it wasn't your fault, like the train didn't show up, right? Or the train got cancelled. It's still going to leave that bad impression. Even though you can tell them, yeah, the train got cancelled, and they'll be like, oh yeah, no problem, not your fault. You've still sort of left a bad impression psychologically in their head, okay? And that's on you, okay? You need to take accountability for that. Make sure you're getting there at least 30 minutes early. So me on my first day, I got the train 30 minutes earlier than I needed to. And then I just sat in the train station for an extra 30 minutes, right? But it's like, I'd prefer that than I get to the train station, like the last train I could possibly get, and it gets cancelled, and then I'm like, I'm going to be 30 minutes late to my first day, because I have to get the train after that. Okay, so get to the city or location 30 minutes early, and then enter the office building 15 minutes before the start time, okay? You don't want to enter at the start time because there's stuff you have to do with like security, reception, going up to it and all this sort of thing. You want to make sure you're going in about 15 minutes before, okay? That's what I do. I think that's a good time. So usually this is how offices work. If you're like a company who like maybe like an engine company or a car company, and you have like specific manufacturing facilities, then you'll have something like you have your own facility. It'll be different because you'll just have one reception. But in general, if you're just working for an office job, the way it works is you'll have like an office. It might be like 20 stories. If you're in London, it might be like 100 stories, right, or whatever. And you have like different companies on each floor. So some companies might have 3 floors, some companies have 1 floor, some companies have half floors. But basically, it's this big office building, bunch of different companies in there. And it's managed by like one reception at the bottom, which is like a sort of generic office reception. So what you're going to do is go to the ground floor, enter through the doors, and just go to the office reception and say it's your first day. They'll take your name, they'll take your company and whatever, and they'll probably like print you off like a visitor's pass or something like that. And they'll just show you to the lift, they'll show you to the stairs, and they'll be like, right, you need to come here and you need to go to floor 3. Okay? So that's that. You then get in the lift or go up the stairs or whatever, go to floor 3, and then you're sort of going to be on the floor where your company is. Okay? Usually at this point, this is where there ends up being like 4 doors around you. Like you come out the lift at floor 3, and there's like 4 doors around you, and you don't know which one it is, right? Either follow someone if there's like someone doing it, or ask someone if they're there, like, oh, where's the reception? It's my first day. Everyone will be really nice, by the way. Or just look for the door which has like a doorbell on, because usually your visitor's pass isn't going to work on the company door. Okay? So if there's one with a doorbell, just press the doorbell, and then the receptionist will buzz you in, like the company receptionist. Okay, so this try and picture this in your head. We've got a big office. We've got a generic office reception at the bottom, okay, on the ground floor, right next to the doors. You go into the ground floor office reception, get a pass, then you go up in your lift or your stairs or whatever. That's when you're on the floor of your company, and that's when you need to press the doorbell or ask someone or follow someone, and then you're going to get let into the company reception. It might seem kind of complicated. If you have to like watch this section again just to understand that, no problem. And then you go into the company reception, and that's when you just go to company reception, say it's your first day, they'll take your name, and then usually they'll just say, okay, I've emailed you or messaged your line manager, just you can wait here in reception, and they'll collect you. Okay, so that's the exact process to go through. There'll be someone watching this who that's literally like eliminated like 90% of their nerves, because they were literally nervous about how do I go into the building and what do I say. That's how you do it, okay? Office reception, go up, press on the doorbell, because like the doors will be locked, press on the doorbell or ask someone or follow someone. Don't worry if there's loads of doors, it doesn't really matter. Like, you really don't have to worry about this. Say you like try and open the wrong door, like, it doesn't matter, no one cares, right? Just find the reception, company reception, just ask someone, that's probably easiest, and then just go there, say it's your first day, and they're going to message your line manager and just wait for you to collect you from reception. Okay, that's like the typical office. That's how it works. Obviously, if your office is different, or you have like, you work at like a company which has a like a specific like headquarters, then it'll be slightly different, but in general, that's how it works. Okay, so now that you know what to do, and you know like that's like how to get into the building, that's how to start. And then once like your line manager collects you from reception, that's when your like first day will start. They'll then take you to your desk and then give you a tour of the office and then talk to you and then give you a laptop and then start doing this and whatever, and answer any questions you have, whatever. That's when it starts. That's just step by step how to get into the building, because I know there's someone whose like nerves have just been like eliminated because now they don't have to, like, people overthink about literally how to walk into the office. That's exactly how you do it. Okay, you can even like screenshot this page right now so you have it on your phone on your first day, so you can like quickly check it and be like, oh, okay, so I need to go to the office reception and then this and then this and then this. All right, okay. So tactics to make the best first impression. Wow. Talking makes you thirsty. Right. Okay. So as I said earlier, the best first impression is through social interactions. It's not through work. You don't have to design a car on your first day. It's just about just be like a nice, friendly person on your first day, and then your line manager's going to like you, your team's going to like you. As simple as that. Okay. And to use you on your first day, as I said, it's in an office. If you're not doing like a outbound onboarding thing, I've sort of ignored that, because if you're doing that, it's like, it's absolutely fine. But eventually you're going to have like your first day in the office. Like, even if you do have an outbound day, it's like maybe on your second day, or like maybe they do a week of outbound. I know some companies do that. On your second week, you're then going to have to do this boring admin day in the office. So this is going to be applicable to everyone, really. You just end up like just signing onto your laptop, watching some videos, signing some things, like putting in your passport, meeting the team, getting a tour of the office, maybe meeting some other apprentices, that sort of thing, right? When you're meeting the team and like meeting your line manager and going through, it's just about social interactions, just giving a good impression here. So I've got a bunch of tips for you here on basically how to give the best first impression through social interactions, okay? So number one is go for handshakes when you meet people, okay? I'll show you how to do handshakes in a second. Like, as I said, in this video, we're doing stupid detail. And for some of you, it may seem kind of like stupid, like the amount of detail I'm going into it. But I know there's someone watching this video who's literally overthinking right now, how do I even do a proper handshake? Don't worry, I'll cover that. But basically, when you meet people, just go in for a handshake every time. There was in COVID, like social distancing, don't do a handshake. Like, do like the Boris Johnson elbow. Boom. Right? No one does that anymore. No one really cares about handshakes. Obviously, there'll be like that one person, fine, who still wears a mask and wants to like not shake hands and has hand sanitizer, like, fine, whatever, right? But 99% of people are absolutely fine with handshakes now. It can be kind of awkward if you're like, the thing with handshakes is like, should I handshake them? And then you're sort of standing there like, oh, do I handshake? And then it's all kind of awkward, right? It's like, just do the handshake. If you go in for a handshake, no one's going to not handshake you. So it's like, either you can stand there sort of all awkward and nervous thinking, oh, should I handshake this person or should I not? Just you be the person to do the handshake. It's going to be polite and they're going to respect you for it. So they're like, oh, this guy's very polite, he's very formal. When you're meeting someone, you just go into the handshake. Be the person who's going to make that decision, be active about it. It means you don't have to stand there like being nervous, like, should I handshake their hand? Because then you're overthinking and then you're not even listening to what they're saying. And then like they suddenly stop talking and you don't even know what they've said and then you don't know what to do. And it all just becomes awkward because you were too busy thinking about, should I handshake them or not? Just as a rule, in general, when you're meeting people on your first day for the first time, just go in for handshakes. Okay? Here's how you go in for a handshake. Yep, I said we were going in detail on this. Let's start off with this one. Okay? If it loads. Right, so here you see right hand, right hand, right hand, boom. Right hand, okay? So don't actually do it in that speed. This is like a clip from Wolf of Wall Street, like behind the scenes, where they were going like 3, 2, 1. Let me make myself bigger so you can just see me. Don't look at these other ones yet, just look at this one on the left. They were like 3, 2, 1, action, and then like that's why you're so slow at the start. So don't if you actually on your first day do a handshake like this, right? Someone's talking to you, you meet them for the first time, right? And you just stand here like this, looking here, and then you slowly move your hand in. Don't do that, okay? Because that is weird, right? But I just wanted to show you this just to show right hand, you go in. That's the right hand. It's always the right hand. Right hand, go like this might be left on your screen. I don't know. No, it should be right. Right hand, always right hand. I don't care if you're left-handed or any of that stuff. The convention is right hand. If you go and shake someone with your left hand because you're left-handed, you're going to confuse someone, okay? It's always your right hand, and you just need to do one hand, okay? So let's look at this one on the right now. If it loads. Okay, that lagged for a second. Boom. Okay, simple as that. That's the grip you want to have. Okay, you just go in like that. That's the exact grip, and you sort of hold it, and you just do like one or two shakes. Okay. This was me at like a networking event, and there was some photographer going around taking photos, and they got this photo of me like handshaking. Right. That's exactly how you do it. You just handshake. One hand. You don't have to do like you might have seen Donald Trump where he like handshakes, put the second hand round, like slap you on the shoulder, like start grabbing you, pull you in, all this sort of stuff. You're not Donald Trump, okay? You don't have to be doing some crazy like power grab, like what's the phrase? You don't need to exert your dominance. Is that a phrase? You don't need to do that, okay? You're just a degree apprentice doing a handshake. You're not the president of the United States, okay? So just one hand, get a grip like that. Always go in with the right hand like this one. Like that right there. Right hand, one or two shakes. That's the grip you're going for. And in terms of grip, because this is a thing a lot of people say is make sure you like grip fairly hard when you're doing a handshake. That's a lot of things that if like you get handshake advice these days, it's like grip hard. And it's like the reason for that is because you don't want your hand to be like super floppy, and then it's just a poor grip and it feels weird, and the person kind of loses respect for you. Like I'll be honest, if I have a handshake with you and your like hand is like super floppy, it's all of a bit weird, right? So you don't want your hand being super floppy, but at the same time you don't want to squeeze too hard. In general, I thought about this the other day when I was making this slide. You sort of want to imagine how much like force you have to hold your phone with. Okay, so you wouldn't like squeeze your phone like that, right? But like your phone, you got to be holding like that. Like when I was thinking about it, I was like, that's like a right sort of pressure. It's like imagine you holding your phone on the side like that. You have to hold it like that, right? And it's like you couldn't hold your phone super weak, otherwise it would just drop. But you're not gonna like sit here and like crush your phone until your knuckles go like white, right? Just imagine you're holding your phone, and that's sort of like the thing you want to do. So it means it's like it is firm because you're like holding it, but it's not going to hurt anyone. Because like you can, to be honest, in general, you can like when you're doing a handshake with a man, you can like squeeze pretty hard and it won't really matter. If you squeeze too hard on a woman, like it's not going to be good, right? It's actually going to hurt them. Okay, so you don't want to squeeze too hard. But it's just sort of imagine you're doing a phone. It's like it wants to be firm enough so that you're like properly like holding hands or whatever. But don't like start doing any dominance, like shaking your hand as like doing it like squeezing as hard as you can. If you're having doing a handshake with your friend, like sure, squeeze as hard as you can. But when you're doing this in the office, okay, just sort of imagine you're holding a phone. That's how like hard you want to be doing it. Sort of just make a connection, but don't start squeezing it. Just make that solid connection. Right hand, look at them in the eyes if you can while you're doing it. But if you need to like look down to check your hand placement, don't worry about it. That's the hand grip. And like if you like, that's how you do it. And if you want to like after this video, or even right now, just I don't know, go up to someone who's, if you're watching this at home, go up to like someone who's downstairs in the kitchen, just practice a handshake with them. Absolutely fine, no problem. That's like the best way of getting good at handshakes. I've taught you all the theory I can here today, but even better than that is if you just go and practice with someone. So what I've taught you today, go and practice. That's like your actual step you need to do. Go literally practice a handshake with someone like 5 times in a row. Okay, right. So that is handshakes covered. So go in for handshakes when you meet people, otherwise it can be kind of caught. Like it'll make yourself feel awkward and you'll feel nervous if you're sort of standing there like, should I handshake them? It's going to put you at ease and they're actually going to respect you more because you're going to be like, yo, this guy's kind of polite and like formal when you go in, when you're the one who goes into a handshake every time you meet someone. Number 2, smile and make eye contact. Just smile. Yeah, just you don't have to be like mysterious, like not smiling or anything. Just smile. Just be really smile. Like the more you smile, the more people like you. I've mentioned this before. A book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Do I have it? else I do? How to win friends and influence people. It mentions in this book, smile, and people will just like you more. So just make sure you're smiling and just make eye contact as well. This is another thing, people are like afraid to make eye contact. Just stare at people in the eyes when you're talking to them. I think when you ask about eye contact, a lot of people say like, oh yeah, make sure you make eye contact, but don't do too much, otherwise it's weird. And it's like, that's just sort of wishy-washy advice. That doesn't help anyone, because it's like, okay, well then how much do I eye contact? Like, it's not very useful. So what I say is just look at them in the eyes the whole time, make eye contact. It's like, people can say, oh yeah, that's kind of weird because it looks like you're staring in their eyes. You should only be looking at their eyes like 70% of the time. But it's like, who cares? It's like, trust me, if right now like you're worried about, you're not very good at eye contact, don't even worry about like, or 70% or this sort of thing. Just don't worry about it. Just look into their eyes the whole time while they're talking. Okay? It's as simple as that. Don't overcomplicate it. That's absolutely fine, no problem. Remember as many names as possible. Okay, this was another thing in how to win friends and influence people. There's a quote where it says like, to any person, the sweetest word in a language is their own name. Okay, so like their favourite word is always their own name. People care about their name. I was at like a networking event and the person in the front asked, who here cares about their name and it being pronounced correctly? Literally 99% of people put their hand up. Okay, people care about their name. So you're going to get introduced to a lot of people on your first day, like your whole team, people from the office, like this sort of thing. Remember as many names as possible. Okay, so I'll give you a few techniques for this. What I would do is when I got introduced to a name, I would say it in my head about 20 times. Like say I get introduced to John, I'd be like, right, this is John, 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 and like thinking about their face, like what they look like as they're talking, I'm listening to them, I'm looking into their eyes, like making eye, like don't make it weird. Oh man, that just made it sound weird when I said that. But like you're making eye contact. I was just like thinking about their face, like what they look like, and the name, and sort of associating, because then it means it's all about repetition. Once I then see their face in future, I'm going to know, right, John. Okay, if you just remember it being John once, you're probably going to forget. But when you've been like John, 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 this is John, this is John, this is John, this is John, in your head like 20 times, you're more likely to remember. So that's what I do. Then the other thing I'd do is, whenever I had a break, I would get like my notebook out or a piece of paper, and I'd literally like draw the seating plan, and I'd like label it with like, this is John, he sits here, this guy's called whatever, this guy's called whatever, this guy's called whatever. And it meant that even if I do forget, I can then learn it again and I have that thing. This is the exact same thing. I did it in sixth form, the start of year 12. I did it with like the seating plans in our class so that I could get to know everyone and know everyone's name. After the first lesson or whatever, I'd quickly like think back to, okay, this was a seating plan, and I'd draw out all the people, label all their names so that I could remember and know everyone's names so I could get to know everyone, right? It's the exact same here. To remember as many names as possible, just don't remember them. Okay, it's not all about remembering, just write them down. It's sort of like a cheat code. It means you don't have to remember because you've then got this sheet of people's names. It means whenever you forget, you can just look at the names and be like, oh, the guy who sits here, that's called John, right? And then the final one is use Microsoft Teams. This was something, again, that people used in year 12 because that was when, like, after COVID, Microsoft Teams became a thing. You could go on the Teams and just search for everyone's name, like everyone in year 12, their name. So if you've got someone's name, you could just go and like search for them on the Teams page. Exact same here. If your company uses Microsoft Teams, they probably will. And like you sort of remember their name, you can go and search for it, and then you'll find them, you'll see their profile picture, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, that's this guy's name. Okay, so that's one there. And that means you can remember as many names as possible because people like their names, and it's good to know people's names. It means you can address them by their name and all this sort of thing. And that's like good social interactions. That's a really good, because a lot of people say, oh, names aren't my strong point. Like everyone says that. Be the one person who's like really good at names, and like people will like you for it. Okay. Next one is have lunch with other colleagues. This is definitely one that I'd say not only on your first day, but especially in your first couple of weeks, first few months, is like have lunch with other people, get to know them so you can talk to them, get to know people in your team, other teams, that sort of thing. Have lunch with them, right? I don't really do it nowadays. These days, I normally just like go for a walk at lunch, something like that. But especially on your first day, have lunch with like the other colleagues, whether that's like the other new apprentices who are starting on the first day as you, or like anyone else in your team. Have lunch with them. That's like a really good way to like get to know about them, get to know about their life, like their work, what they do, all this sort of thing. That's a really good way to like to connect and have a good social interaction. And like, at the end of the day, this is what we're looking for. Make the best first impression. That's the way it's going to happen. Okay, have lunch with other colleagues. Finally, have a list of questions ready to ask. Okay, and this is exactly what I did for my first day, and also for the office visit I did. For the office visit in particular, I was in like the library for like an hour before my actual office visit, and I literally had a piece of paper and I was writing down a whole bunch of questions I wanted to ask. I didn't even want to ask that many questions. If you remember back to that slide I did earlier, the only questions I wanted to know about really were like flexible working hours, the projects, and study days. But I asked loads of other questions as well, and I had them all ready on this piece of paper prepared, even though I didn't really care. Like I was asking like, what's the holidays like, and all this, and I didn't really care, right? But I was asking it just because if you're in a situation where you get introduced to someone and they're like, do you have any questions? It's kind of a bit jarring if you just say no. Like, it is absolutely fine if you have to say no, like it is what it is, fine. But it's like, you can make a better first impression if you have questions. Because it's like, you're the curious one, you're interested. It's just leaving a good impression if you're asking questions, you've thought about things, that sort of thing. Which is why you want to have this list of questions, especially even if you don't care. Because if you don't care about asking any questions, it's like every single time you meet someone or like you meet a line manager, you're like, oh, do you have any questions for me? You're just going to be like, no, I have no questions. And it's like, okay, fine. But it's like you're going to leave a better impression if you've got these good questions which you want to ask, which shows you're interested, shows you're curious, all this sort of thing. So I have that list of questions ready to ask. So, like, for example, when I got introduced to someone who was like the early careers lead, I didn't really have any questions about early careers, but I just started asking them things about like, oh, what's the development like for early careers? And like, what sort of opportunities are there in this like early careers space, right? Or whatever. I didn't really care, but it's like, I'm asking those questions because then this person thought I was like curious and like just making a good first impression, because rather than saying, no, I don't have any questions, because then they're thinking like, oh, were you even listening to what I said? Or like, do you even care? Why am I even talking to you? It's like, ask those questions because then it looks like you're interested, and then they're going to like you more because you're interested in what they're doing, right? And then a bonus one here is just, in general, to have good conversations with people, ask questions about themselves. So especially when you're like having lunch with other colleagues, ask them questions about what they do, what their projects, what they do for fun. People enjoy it when they're talking about themselves. It's as simple as that. Like if you're in a conversation with me and you start asking me about YouTube and like sport or whatever, then it's like, I'm gonna enjoy it because I get to talk about myself. I don't care about what you're interested in. I care about what I'm interested in. Everyone cares about what they are interested in. So ask them about what they are interested in. The more you can push the conversation to other people, ask them questions, the better impression you're going to leave. So you can use that one, just a bonus one for you there when you're having lunch with other colleagues. Okay. If you want to learn more about how to prepare for starting your degree apprenticeship, you can click this video on the left. And if you want to learn about how to excel in your degree apprenticeship and leave a really good first impression in the first couple of weeks, first couple of months, first year, then you can go and check out my course on the right. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day.